After teachers gather assessment data about their students, that is when the fun really begins, because that is when teachers start interpreting and making sense of the data that they gathered. Because really, gathering data about student learning is just the tip of the assessment iceberg. Teachers gather assessment data because they want to be able to use it to learn more about their students' needs. And that part, the working with the data, making conclusions, testing their conclusions, altering lesson plans, and engaging in this cycle of continuous professional improvement is the end result of assessing student learning. Okay, so how do teachers do this assessment interpretation? They look at the data that they've gathered and they think, okay, what does this show me about the student? And why are these data important? And most of all, how can I use the information that's in these data to help me fine-tune the way I teach this student? That's what it's all about, is improving your effectiveness and helping students become more successful. So it's time for a little eyes-on practice. On the following slide, you'll see a learning photo taken of a kindergartner named Marcus. And I'd like you to examine the photo and try to draw some tentative conclusions about Marcus as a learner. As you're looking at the photo, ask yourself, well, what do these data show me about Marcus as a learner? What areas of strength is he demonstrating? What areas of struggle might he be having? Why are these data important? And how can I use these data about Marcus to support his development and his learning? I recommend that you pause the film so that you can take your time to look at what you see here. There's a lot of rich information, and I'd also like to ask you to jot down your thoughts about Marcus as a learner, write down your interpretations, and bring them to our first class session, and we'll talk some about Marcus in class so that we will be able to get the conversation started with your observations. So please pause the film and look as long as you like, and then jot down your thoughts. As I said, to learn about our students, we need to interpret the assessment data that we gather. So here, the teacher, me, is wondering, okay, so what do these data teach me about fantasy as a learner? What are her strengths? Where does she need additional support? What does this show me? If I'm looking at student work or student assessment data that doesn't provide any insight into the student as a learner, then I've gathered the wrong data. That happens all the time. Don't worry about it. You have a million opportunities to gather data, and you may have just picked things that were not right, spot on where you wanted to go. After or while we're interpreting the student data that we've gathered, we think, okay, so now that I know this about fantasy, what can I do to that lesson we're going to be doing on Thursday that will help her be more successful? What are the implications of these data? How can I take what I'm learning and use it to help my student succeed? I'll be honest, interpreting data can be difficult. Some students are hard to read at first, and it may take more time to figure those kinds of kids out. And you just have to keep watching and thinking. You're responsible for every child learning every day, and you have to never give up. Some data are ambiguous or hard to interpret, and you may see multiple possibilities. So when that happens, just pick one and test it out. If things improve, it means you picked the right choice. If things aren't improving, then try one of your other interpretations. And I promise you'll have plenty of scaffolded opportunities to interpret student assessment data in class. You'll have lots of experience, and you'll be very well prepared for all of the assignments. And just a reminder, please don't forget to bring your observations about Marcus to the first class session. See you then. Can't wait.